There's a new kid on the block. Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to look at the brand new Roland Aerophone AE-05. I think it's going to be called the Roland Aerophone GO. It's a new entry-level aerophone. Now the Aerophone 10 has continued to be updated. We've just had a version 3 update, and so the Aerophone 10 has 128 sounds, 8-octave range, 2 speakers. It's more of a professional market instrument. The Aerophone GO, on the other hand, only 11 sounds, 1 speaker. Similar breath and lip control in both of these instruments, but this one is obviously intended for a more entry-level player. There's one feature on this, by the way, which I think is going to interest all wind synthesizer players, so keep watching the video to find out exactly what that is. This is a smaller, lighter, more compact instrument. It is the same graphite colour. The keywork is pretty similar in the layout. I think the palm keys and side keys are obviously a little closer and more compact with the fingering. One thing about the Aerophone 10 is this right hand stretch. This is quite a thick piece here for some people to get around to with their right hand, and that can be a disadvantage for some players. Not so with the Aerophone GO. It's a more compact feel. If you play soprano sax or sopranino sax, it's that similar feel where the side keys and palm keys are just a bit closer to the body. There is actually a nice feel to this. It feels kind of just somehow just a little bit more compact and a bit more sturdy, in fact, than the Aerophone 10. Mouthpiece and reed situation is more or less the same. We do have that thick reed on this mouthpiece, but it's not the same mouthpiece, not quite. This section here, the sort of collar to the main instrument is a little bit longer. That helps keep that mouthpiece nice and stable on there. It has the same idea with breath pressure and lip response, so you can get the same amount of control with your dynamics, with your articulation, and with your lip control in terms of pitch bending or vibrato. That's all remaining the same. So keywork very similar. There is actually one extra key on the Aerophone GO. On the AE-10, there's only one key for the sort of F sharp, whether it's the top F sharp or the alternative F sharp. We've now got 2 keys on this, and I like that. It's actually in a slightly better position than the AE-10, so I think that is actually a move forward. On the Aerophone GO, there's just the 1 speaker. On the 10, there are 2 speakers. When I first heard the speaker on the AE-10, I thought, you know, why is this here? It's awful. It's a tiny little tinny speaker. Do you know, I found it very, very useful to have the speaker, to be able to just pick this instrument up and turn it on and hear myself play, even if it is through a very small speaker, has been very, very useful. And I'm glad to see that it's been kept here on the Aerophone GO. Looking on the back, now here we can see some of the big changes. On the GO, there are just 1 octave key up and 1 octave key down, and on the AE-10 we have those 2 octave keys up, which can actually go 3 octaves up if you press both of them at the same time. There's a combination, and 2 octaves down. So range-wise, there's quite a bit more range on the 10 than there is on the 5. Roughly speaking, we have, say, 8 octaves on the Aerophone 10, and it's about 3.5, 4 octaves on the GO. Okay, again, That's great for some people to have that extra range. I love it and I would never be without that range. But for some people, you don't want that range. Much easier on the Aerophone Go. We still have a sling hook and a thumb hook. Also on the thumb here, there's this button here that can send out a controller message. That might be a bend message or to turn the sound into something slightly different. Again, on the Aerophone 10, there is the joystick, which gives it a sort of multi-way control up, down, left and right. There are lots more controllers that we can use there on the 10 to the 5. And again, for some people that's overkill on the 10, but it's nice to have a little bit of extra control on the 5. Continuing down the back here, we've got this nice easy 3 dial control here. The top one is the tone control. There are just 11 sounds on the AE-05. They're fun sounds, they're not great sounds. I don't think I would use them professionally. The sounds on the 10 are way better. Supernatural sounds on the 10, and these are PCM sounds on the 5. Just underneath the second dial, this is a very simple transposition button, and it tells you there whether you're in B flat or E flat or any semitone in between, so you can get into any key you like to hear. And then a simple volume control. Really nice and straightforward. And under here, batteries, 4 AA batteries. It can be powered directly by the USB input here. And there's a switch here to change between battery power and USB power. Looking on the other side, there's a switch for turning on and off the bite control. That will be useful for some people if you don't want to be able to control the lip pressure, or you just want it very straightforward, almost like a recorder maybe. That's great for there. But if you do want to go a bit further and turn on the bite control, it is going to be there, the lip control. And then the main switch on and off. This is a kind of 3-position switch. It has the off position, obviously, on, and it has the opportunity to turn on the Bluetooth connection. And this is a very interesting development here with the Aerophone Go. So on the AE-10, all of our parameters could be controlled with this nice display here on the AE-10. We could see the sounds, we could get into the menu system, and we can do quite a lot of changes, and of course we can have the editor app as well. Lots and lots of customization there. Quite a bit less on the Aerophone Go. We have these 3 side keys here that double up as a little bit of a setting procedure. We can change the breath control, the reverb and the fingering. And the way this works is where you put the tone dial all the way over to the right, all the way clockwise into the setting position. And then you choose which parameter you want to change. So let's say we want to change the reverb. If I press reverb here, and you hear it makes a series of beeps there, the up and down octave keys now work to increase or decrease. So if I want more reverb, 4 beeps, 5 beeps, or less. So I can change some parameters there on that right hand side, and there's an audio kind of cue as to where I am. Again, really nice and simple for the novice or beginner player or younger player. I don't think that's great for a professional player. You wouldn't want to be on stage and have that thing beeping away as you're making those changes, but at least there is some customization there on the go, as it were. Let's just have a little look at some of the sounds here and hopefully show you a little bit of the new app that goes along with this. There's a handy little reminder here of what these sounds are. There are 4 saxophone sounds: soprano, alto, tenor and baritone sax. There's a flute, clarinet and a violin, muted trumpet, and then there are 2 or 3 synthesizer sounds, and a percussion sound. Here's the flute sound. And the violin. A muted trumpet. And then the synth sounds. And there's even a percussion sound. A brief look at the Aerophone GO app. So this connects via Bluetooth. You have to make sure the switch is all the way over to the Bluetooth connection, and then in the settings here there's a way of connecting with the Aerophone GO AE-05, and it's as easy as that straight away. We've got three main sections on the app, and very briefly we've got the sounds here. They're done in categories of woodwind, brass, string and voice, synths and others. We can select a tone from here, and we do have a certain amount of edit control on this. We can add some reverb, we can change the attack, we can change the volume of those sounds. So that's just the harmonica sound on there. The second tab gives us this MP3 player. We can select any sound from our library of MP3s that you might have from iTunes or backing tracks or whatever. We can also change the key of those tracks. We can change the playback speed if you want to practice something and play it back at a slower speed to get used to a file. You can even repeat a section A to B. Karaoke, what that does is it attempts to take out some of the perhaps vocal line in a track that you might have that isn't really a backing track. It works reasonably well, but obviously doesn't completely get rid of the vocal line. And then there's a pretty comprehensive setting page where we can change things like system settings. There's a whole raft of MIDI settings that we can change. There is fingering mode where we can make some alterations with the fingering, select which fingering we use, either saxophone or recorder, brass fingering, or just right hand or left hand mode only. And then the general control setting where you can set up the bite sensitivity, the breath sensitivity, pitch up, pitch down, all of that kind of thing. And of course you can play this instrument wirelessly into any computer sound or iPad sound that you want to use as well. I'll just give you a quick demo. So, in brief, 128 supernatural and PCM sounds in the 10. Just 11 PCM sounds in the Aerophone GO, 50 more sounds via the app. The lip response, mouthpiece, key layout, pretty similar overall. The connectivity, pretty similar overall, with the advantage on the Aerophone GO of the wireless MIDI, bigger range of notes, 8 octaves on the Aerophone 10 and only 4 octaves or so on the Aerophone GO. More advanced, professional, more customization. That's the 10. Fun, easy to get on with, great starting instrument, good for kids, good for novices, even good for professionals that want to carry around perhaps on holiday or something, or even as a backup instrument. the Aerophone GO is well worth a look as well. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you again for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. We'll see you very soon with some more videos on the Aerophones.